So the saga between Micky, Theo, and John Fury continues. John Fury has responded with a video where he denied that he was beaten in a bare knuckle by this Dave Campbell guy. He confirmed that Dave Campbell is dead. He said he died 8 or 10 years ago. He said that when he fought Dave Campbell didn't last a minute. And John Fury said he fought well for under a minute, but after that he got on top of Dave Campbell and it was game over, and the police or the ambulance people had to scrape Dave Campbell off the floor. This is what John Fury says. He doesn't address more than one fight because Micky Theo claims that Dave Campbell and John Fury fought several times, whereas John Fury only refers to one fight. So I don't know if there's more of a story there or if there isn't. Who knows? If any of you have got information on this, let me know. Or maybe John Fury will speak more about it. I know he said he doesn't like to speak about the dead, but maybe he'll expand on it a little bit more and talk about the history between him and Dave Campbell. Or maybe he won't. We'll see. But that's what John Fury had to say. And he also doubled down and claims that he has never lost a fight outside the ring. Now, in this particular video here, Micky Theo claims that the guy John Fury blinded in a street fight had actually dropped John Fury twice during that fight. And that's when John Fury got off the floor and decided to fight dirty and do what he did. And he ended up getting or doing 5 years in prison. I think he was sentenced to more than that. But basically, Micky Theo claims that that's what John Fury does when he's losing a fight, is he'll start fighting dirty. I don't know whether that's true. I'm just telling you what Micky Theo claims, and then I'm going to give you my overall take on what's going on between these two. Now, Micky Theo also said that he's willing to fight John Fury bare knuckle, but in the ring, because John Fury's been talking about he only wants it gypsy style bare knuckle. Actually, he says he wants it no holds barred. He wants to fight either in his backyard or in Billy Joe Saunders' backyard, and he's waiting on Micky Theo to turn up. Well, Micky Theo says he's not interested in fighting in John Fury's backyard or Billy Joe's backyard. He wants to fight basically in a neutral location in a ring with Queensberry rules. Not no holds barred, but with Queensberry rules, bare knuckles or with gloves. He's fine with that. Now, in fact, it's this video where he says it, excuse me. This was a video from June 10th where he talked about all that information. This is the latest video that Micky Theo did on June 22nd. And again, he's talking about how John Fury doesn't really seem to want to fight and that there's nothing personal that he's got against John Fury. He's just answering a challenge because John Fury's been calling people out for several years. He's been saying he's the best 50-odd-year-old man in the world. And so Micky Theo in this particular video says, you're not the best 50-odd-year-old man in the world. There are lots of men better at that age. And he believes he's one of those men. Okay? Now, John Fury, by the way, before I give you my take on this, has been training. You can see him here hitting the bag. He's been doing a bit of training that was filmed. And he was also in a conference chat with his son and Steve Bunce talking about this Mike Tyson fight, how he'd like to get in the ring and challenge Mike Tyson, who John Fury referred to as the king of the old men. Okay, so here's my take. John Fury did say that he's the best 50-odd-year-old man in the world. He's been calling people out for a long time. Now somebody in Micky Theo answers his challenge, and John Fury at first accepted. Then he went back on it and said, no, I don't want to step in the ring. Instead, I want it outside, bare knuckle, no holds barred, anything goes, and I'm going to tear Micky Theo to pieces. Is what John Fury said. And he said the reason he doesn't want it in the ring anymore is because he doesn't think the public would like to see the body of a 50-odd-year-old man. They want to feast their eyes on something better than that. Words to that effect. That's what John Fury said. But then in the very next breath, he's talking about fighting Mike Tyson in a boxing match. I don't see the difference. Well, what's the difference of fighting Micky Theo in a boxing match and you don't want people to see your body, but then you can fight Mike Tyson in a boxing match and you don't mind? Micky Theo did say that John Fury's welcome to wear a t-shirt or whatever he wants in a boxing match against him. So I don't get why that boxing match thing is an issue for John Fury if he's willing to fight Mike Tyson in a boxing match. You know, you guys tell me, particularly those of you who are big Fury fans, tell me why he's willing to fight Mike Tyson in a boxing match. And that's not an issue in terms of people seeing his body or whether he's wearing a t-shirt, whatever. But he's not willing to do the same for, fighting Micky Theo. Who knows what that's all about? As far as the whole bare knuckle stuff, and look, bare knuckle in the ring, it is what it is. Yeah, Micky Theo's willing to do it. If John Fury wants to do it, I don't see the issue. In terms of turning up and fighting John Fury in his backyard or fighting Billy Joe Saunders in his backyard, anything goes, no holds barred, surely we have to draw a line somewhere. Because I grew up in an environment where people who weren't very good in boxing, some of them were good in street fights, because in street fights you can use whatever, right? There's no rules. But then people who weren't good in street fights, they would use weapons. And growing up in the 1990s in Brixton, there was a lot of murders. There was a lot of attempted murders. People got maimed and all kinds of stuff because of people using weapons. So where do we stop? If people are just trying to prove that they're the toughest and the most vicious, those who can't fight in a boxing match are going to want to fight no holds barred in the street. Those who can't do that are going to want to use weapons. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where do we draw the line? I say we draw the line with having an actual fight in a ring. Yeah? Because we're all boxing fans here, right? That's why most of you are subscribed to this channel. I don't like all that on the street with weapons and guns and that. I don't like all that type of violence. Yeah? Same way with no holds barred fights with all kinds of maiming going on. I don't really go for that. I like watching boxing. A bit of bare knuckle, where it's Queensberry rules, I can entertain that as well. The rest of it, that's just savagery. So for me personally, if these two old guys, game old men, game old boys, if they want to fight each other, I think they should do it in a ring, whether it's bare knuckle or with gloves, and may the best man win. My personal feeling is that John Fury at this age, because he hasn't had a professional boxing match since the 90s. My feeling is that John Fury at this age isn't that confident in his ability in a boxing ring against Micky Theo. Because Micky Theo has been sparring regularly for years and he's, physically fit. So I think in a boxing match, John Fury is maybe a little concerned that Micky Theo might be able to outwork him, outmaneuver him, maybe beat him on points or something, And that would be embarrassing for John Fury because he's a very proud man. He's the father of the heavyweight champion of the world. So I think that's why he wants it outside in a no holds barred, because he feels more comfortable that he could beat Micky Theo in a no holds barred rather than beating him in a boxing match. I think that's what it is. And yeah, it does sound counterintuitive because Micky Theo's never even had a white collar. He's never had any amateur fights. He's never had any pro fights as a boxer. So, logically you'd think surely John Fury would be able to destroy Micky Theo in a boxing ring. Surely. Because John Fury actually boxed professional and he boxed some, decent domestic level guys. Also, lost to Henry Akinwande and whatnot, who was a world champion at one stage. But again, that was a very long time ago. When was the last time John Fury actually had a boxing match? Back in the 90s. You're talking about nearly 30 years ago. When's the last time John Fury sparred? Has he been sparring in boxing regularly over the past 20 odd years? Maybe he hasn't. I don't know. But my take on it is that John Fury feels confident that he could take Micky Theo in a no holds barred where anything goes. But in a boxing ring, I think he's a little nervous about that. Not nervous as in scared, but I think he's concerned that he might get outpointed or outworked by a fitter old guy, maybe lose on points, and then it's going to look a little embarrassing. That's my take on it. Yeah. And at the end of the day, if he's willing to fight Mike Tyson, and the gap in terms of fame between Mike Tyson and John Fury might not be as big as the gap in fame between John Fury and Micky Theo, but the John Fury-Micky Theo fight is a fight which is more realistic because both guys are in the UK. John Fury versus Mike Tyson, well, John Fury's banned from the US and Mike Tyson's banned from the UK. So it's a non-starter to begin with. Is Mike Tyson really going to be so motivated to fight John Fury that they're going to find some neutral country somewhere? Mike Tyson going to go fight, I don't know, God knows where. Germany or somewhere where John Fury can still go. And it's going to be difficult for either of them. It'll be easier for Mike Tyson to get access to certain countries because of his fame. But for John Fury, it's still not going to be easy with his record, to get into a lot of countries. Whereas Mike Tyson. So I just think the whole John Fury, see, a lot of these Fury fans have accused Micky Theo of just wanting 5 minutes of fame. I think John Fury accused Micky Theo of the same. But then there are people saying that John Fury is doing the same thing, calling out Mike Tyson. So, it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This whole John Fury versus Micky Theo saga. I have noticed that initially the vast majority of people were supporting John Fury. But over the past few weeks where Micky Theo has kept the pressure on and kept calling him out, the tide has been turning, and I've noticed Micky Theo has got a lot more support now. It's interesting. So, and some people are saying, what's this? I saw a couple of people on the last video say, what's this got to do with boxing? John Fury was a professional boxer. And he is the father of the heavyweight champion of the world. So it's got plenty to do with boxing. And we're talking about a boxing match. That's what I want to see happen. I don't want to see in someone's backyard where we're not even going to see it anyway. In someone's backyard or whatever. Like, come on. And if you're going to challenge somebody to a fair fight, at least have it in a neutral location. Yeah. Imagine you're somebody who lives in, I don't know, Peckham. You're challenging someone to a fight. Yeah. Come to my estate in Peckham. Right? The middle of my estate. Wherever you live up in Manchester. Come to the middle of my estate in Peckham, which is full of all these Peckham people who you can't trust and you don't know. Many of them are violent and they're not afraid to use weapons and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to do that, are you? Maybe if you're completely mad, you might, but it can all turn very wrong for you if you do. Because there's a lot of unscrupulous people around who, if you're getting on top, they're going to get involved and you could be in serious trouble. So if you want to fight with somebody, whether it's no holds barred or whatever, you need to invite them to a neutral location with neutral people. Not to come to my backyard or come to my friend's backyard. Like, nah. So anyway, best of luck to Micky Theo and to John Fury. A pair of tough old boys. But I hope that this can just be settled in the ring with bare knuckles or with gloves on. And if John Fury was able to get in the ring and beat the living daylights out of Micky Theo, I think that would be great for him because he's been wanting a challenge and somebody stepped up to the plate who's in his age range. If he can get in there, beat this guy, well, that should fulfill some of that fight and desire that John Fury still has. It will make him feel good being able to get in there and beat up somebody who's been calling him out and calling him a chicken and all this kind of business. So I think it'd be good for John Fury to get in the ring and, try and deal with this guy. And as I said before, if we're talking about a prime John Fury back in the 90s, surely he would make light work of Micky Theo in a boxing ring. Surely he would. If you look at the guy, John Fury beat Michael Murray, for example. I know he beat Michael Murray on his debut, on Michael Murray's debut. Then he beat Michael Murray a few fights later. So Murray maybe wasn't at his absolute best, but Murray was a decent level, domestic operator in Britain. Yeah. He was a pretty tough guy, Michael Murray, and John Fury did beat him a couple times. Those are decent wins on the domestic circuit. So back in the days, yeah, you'd have to say John Fury surely would make... Look, John Fury, by his own admission, wasn't a big puncher. Okay? But he's naturally a much bigger man than Micky Theo. Micky Theo is, I think, like 14, maybe 15 stone, but that's all pumped up with weights. John Fury is a natural heavyweight. So if you've got a natural heavyweight going up against the guy who's probably, without all the weights, maybe a natural light heavyweight, natural cruiser at best, there's still going to be a power difference there. So you might not be a big puncher at heavyweight, but if you're fighting a guy who's a light heavyweight, all of a sudden your punches are having a lot more effect. Do you understand what I'm saying? So even though John Fury might not be the biggest puncher, he should still have enough power there to do some damage to Micky Theo. It's just whether he trusts his fitness and his ability in a boxing ring at this age enough to believe he can go in there and, you know, take care of Micky Theo. So anyway, it's all fun and games. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.